Yeah. Uh, it's not zero people that showed up, so that's good. Yeah, so I guess like we'll wait maybe like 2 more minutes to see if anyone else shows up. Although, yeah, like maybe, like I think what they'll do is they'll just start question one because like I'm just gonna do all of them and like probably like one is not that interesting anyways. But yeah, like feel free to stop me anytime. So I guess yeah, I guess we're talking uh uh so I guess we're talking here. So write code that defines the function greet instructor, takes a course in a greeting. If the greeting, so the function should return hello. Hey, so the function should return hello, and then depending on the course, it should be either prof Carrick or prof Vets, right? So let's copy that. So here I'll fill in kind of an example of this. And then the idea would be that greet instructor Civ should return hello from Herrick, and the other way. Events, and then if it's Praxis, then it's Carrick. And I usually would write things out this way when I need to write a function and I'm confused. So I'll just write down kind of, okay, like what is it that it should do, right? So, okay. So now what does it do? So just depending on the course, either this or this. So we can simply say, so I'll start with the greeting being hello, comma, like this, and then actually prof as well, because those are both the same. And then now I'm gonna say, so if the course is Civ, so I'll explain the reasoning in a second. So I'll say if the course is Civ, then the prof is Vents. And if the course is Praxis, doesn't say anything about anything else, then the prof is Carrick. And now we just return greeting plus prof. Okay. So the idea is basically we send in this. So actually, is it greeting as well? Oh, the greeting actually is over here. Okay, sorry. So sorry that. So this should be hello prof like this. So that would be like this. So Civ would go to course and hello prof would go to greeting. And then here we'll set the prof depending on what the course is, right? So we're saying set the prof to be Benz if the course is Civ, set the prof to be Carrick if the course is Praxis. And then we just compute greeting. So for example, hello prof plus the variable prof. So let's do an example. So here I'm saying greet instructor. So Civ gets sent to course, hello prof gets sent to greeting. I go to next. So now if course is Civ, so this is two equal signs, right? Because I'm comparing. So when comparing, is it equal? That's always two equal signs. So prof is now Benz. So this doesn't happen because the if already happened. So we're going to skip to line 6. And the return value is going to be greeting plus prof. Say again? Okay, so the terminology here, the conditional is kind of this kind of construction, right? So it's like if LF, that's what's called a conditional. So inside the function, what we're doing is so maybe you're asking like we're setting prof inside the if. Well, in this case, we are, right? So, and that's just because that's the structure of the problem, right? You need to do a different thing depending on whether the course is Civ or whether the course is Praxis. Does that make sense? So this is this one. So, oh, I skipped 2 actually. So, we needed to write code that printed Carrick if the course is Praxis and Benz if the course is Civ. So here the job was to write a function. Here the job is to just write code that prints stuff. So that's like a more straightforward thing to do. Right? So this would be just this kind of thing. I'll just copy and paste it. So this would be problem 2, I guess. And here the job is I'm going to set the course to something, for example, Praxis. And then this is problem 2, right? So I set the course to something. I could have set it to something else. And then I'm saying, is course Civ? If yes, print Benz. Is course Praxis? If yes, print Carrick. Does that make sense? Cool. All right. So that was Q3. So Q4 was just installing stuff. Here we're just doing kind of some kind of thing. So just print hello Python. So just trying to be complete here. So I started a new file. I have this line, print hello Python here. I'll save it somewhere. So I'm just saving it on the desktop, naming it a.py. So this is the location, right? So on my computer, it's at like home Gerjoy desktop a.py. So depending on whether you have Mac or Windows, it might look a little bit different, but it's basically going to say which folder the file is in. And then kind of if, for example, on the desktop, you can also make a folder, stuff like that. So just for completeness, so I can, for example, so I just did like right click and I say new folder, like my folder. And now I have like a folder on the desktop where I can store stuff. Right now it's empty, but I can save a.py into that folder, right? So I can say save as, and then here is my folder. It's on the desktop. So I can click inside and I can save it as, I don't know, a12.py. So now it's also saved as a12.py in this folder, my folder on the desktop. So I can run it and print hello Python. So I ran it using Control E on a PC, Command E on the Mac will be the shortcut. Sorry. So now we want greetings. So here the idea is kind of like you have those 2 names and you want to print this big string. And ideally you want to kind of economize on kind of space. So you want to store the names in variables. So what I do here is I just copied and pasted this. And now I want to substitute in the names. So say like name 1 is Roger. and name 2 is Evan, because we're friends. And now I'll have the string. So here, what I'm gonna do, so this is just kind of like keyboarding, right? So uh, I put all of this in quotes like this. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna replace, so I can't actually replace it because I need to with this. This would be name 1 plus, this would be name 2. Like this is basically the same construction as like 1 plus 3 plus 10 plus 2, right? So in the same way, like ABC plus DEF, G, GHI. So that whole thing is like this, right? So I'm just sticking it all together. It's just that some of the things that I'm sticking together are stored in variables, right? Okay, so your names are, so that is name 1. I guess I made everyone do it, so it's only fair that I should try to type it in as well. So still space plus name 1. Actually, this is name 2. Was it? No, this is name 1 plus plus name 2. Okay. So this is basically, so I just like replaced kind of the names with placeholders, and I'm sticking it all together using the plus signs. So I didn't print it. I just said what res is. So now if I say print res, so res for result, this is what I get. So it's like almost good. I think there's like an extra space here. So this is here. So yeah, so there shouldn't be a period before space. And maybe there was a period here. I don't know. All right. So like nothing to it. You're just kind of doing this big sum where some of the elements are variables, which you can change. So like you can change like Alvin to Mike. Yeah. I mean, it's so you mean like this, right? Yeah. So it's a string that has one character in it. So the period. So just happens to have one. Like you can even have an empty string, right? So you can have like A is nothing and A is nothing. So that's all. So if I print it, so here like I displayed it as just quote nothing quote. You print it, there's nothing because it's empty. Cool. All right. So okay. So so we're saying modify so that after putting the values of the variables the names are changed to yeah. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to say, okay, so those were your names, and now you change them to Prof. Kara. And now that's Prof. Joy. So in order to trace in Paizo, what you do is you put a breakpoint somewhere. So on the gray here, I put, so I just clicked here. So I got the red dot. So I'm putting, I press Control E, Command E on the Mac. And now I do this. So I can display the variable values over here. So right now, name 1 is Roger, name 2 was already Mike. I made name 2 Mike again. Computer is out. And now I keep track of the fact that just now name 1 is Roger, but after I run line 9, name 1, you can see here that it's Prof. Carrick. You can also query here that it's what confirm that it's Prof. Carrick as well. And again, right now, name 2 is Mike, but now it's Prof. Kershaw. So that changed here. I can also check here that it's changed. So res, of course, did not change. So it's going to print the old thing. So I'll just press continue. Stuck. Something stuck. So, and that's still the same. And that's because res was computed before, right? So res still had Roger and Mike. So, okay. So now we want to have a variable called greet, and we want Python code that only greets someone if they're not named this thing. So, okay. Start a new file. So now that we're writing a program, I'll do the thing, even though we're not really writing. Well, we could actually write a function as well, but let's first write it without the function. So greet, so could be this, could be something else, and then this is bad greet. And then we say if greet is equal to bad greet, and say not talking to you. If not, I can print hi plus greet. Does that make sense? So they're doing different things. So if it's equal, then I'm saying not talking to you. Otherwise, I'm saying hi plus greet. So if this is like someone who's like not quite as bad, and okay, I can't think of anything funny. So Roger, whatever. So that would be hi Roger. So we can trace it. So Roger is not, in fact, Lord Voldemort. So we skip to here and we print hi Roger. So we could write it as just this code in the main block under if name equals main. You could imagine doing it as a function, right? So you could imagine writing a function. So that's just an alternative way of doing things, right? So I can say def and then I'll just copy this over here. And then I'll copy this and I'll change the prints to returns. So what's the idea here? So the idea is I kind of like boxed everything into this get greeting function, which I could reuse as many times as I want without copy and pasting, right? And what this function does is, again, think of it as like an algebraic kind of thing, right? It takes in a string that's the greetie, maybe Roger, and it returns a greeting which is either not talking to you or hi plus greetie, right? And then this would compute to hi Roger, and then I'm saying print hi Roger. So I said here, right? So I'm sending this Discrete to Discrete, or I could even just directly say Roger here. Yeah, yeah. Maybe that is kind of cleaner, anyways. Yeah, I think this is. I hope this is it. I think this is it. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Questions? Sorry. Right. Uh, uh, yeah, so I think kind of the one thing that I think to take away from this, other than just kind of my version of the solutions, of course, there's always multiple kind of possible things, is this kind of thing where if you're asked to write a function, then like it's normal to be at first confused. And I think one thing that helps is just kind of writing it out like this, where you just say like, okay, like if I plug Civ in, what is it that I'm expected to get? Once you know that, you would say, okay, so let's say that I plugged in Civ. I should say this is hello prof, right? So once I have this, it's like, okay, like basically what's the formula that I need to figure out in order for this to compute, right? So it's kind of like, I don't know, like in math, you would sometimes be asked, like, like make up an A such that f of 2 is 3 and f of 3 is 4, whatever, right? And so on. And well, like, of course, like any number of f's might work, but you might say, oh, this is like f of n is n plus 1. Right? So once you have the examples, you can kind of say, okay, like what do I need to do in order for this to happen? Of course, it's kind of here, you're just completely guessing. Here, you know what's going on. And what you would be thinking is, okay, like Civ and hello prof, then I need this. So I just need to check if the course is Civ and then do something. And that's exactly what's going on there. Right. I'm just saying if course is equal to Civ, okay, then prof is next. So here, kind of like, so I could choose to say return. So I could choose to say, instead of saying like prof equals, I could say return greeting equals prof for both. Here, I kind of chose to just say greeting plus prof on line 6, rather than saying something like this here, which I could also do. Right? So I could just directly say return greeting plus Benz, and then I would not have to have this variable prof. All right. Does that make sense? Cool. Right. Yeah. So again, I know it's just the two people, but if anyone's watching on YouTube, again, kind of I said to several people, kind of one thing you can always do is just like if you were confused initially and you see the solution, then convince yourself that you've kind of made progress in terms of figuring out why the solution is what it is. Then take a break, do something else, and then try to see if you can do it from scratch. Because kind of especially with short solutions, it's kind of very easy to like convince yourself that like I get it now, but actually you just kind of memorized it. So yeah, uh, not going to be a problem with kind of larger problems where it's hard to memorize, but for now, yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah. Is there anything? Yeah. Okay. I'm not even checking Discord. Okay. I will check Discord. Uh, But yeah, I know. I think like 6 p.m. everyone's tired. At the same time, like it's not as if there's like anything better. So, uh, uh, um, I mean, I Harry, I assumed that was the case, but I wasn't sure. But like if you submitted your own name, maybe I would consider it. So anyway, okay. Uh, so okay, all right. Thanks.